It was really well built. In this house, there were lights. But afterwards, it became darkness itself. Because man was led astray, that he could not move with God anymore. So many traps were laid in this house to make sure that man can never reach God, to make sure that we can never know God. Because of this, man was back somewhere. There are these creatures that came to know man better than God. They laid traps within man, which was the house that was initially full of light. They changed everything in this house. They changed the main switch. There are different traps that are laid down to make sure that man can never reach God. Now, the moment they discover that you are persistent, that you mean to move with God, that you are determined, that they can't prevent you anymore, that they can't hinder you anymore, what they do, they go to the main switch. Because there are certain things that were hidden in us that no any other person knows. Apart from these creatures, it might be gossiping, it might be fighting. Everyone has a main switch that was given from underworld to keep these characters moving on, to keep their ways on going, to keep us pushing on with what belongs to them. They make sure that this main switch is hidden. They know that Mary, she has tried to fight. She has prevented certain things. But we are seeing that she's determined. We are seeing that she's willing to give out all. We are seeing that she has gathered herself up to make sure that she can move on. They will go back to the main switch, because where you had started from, under that darkness, the moment you start this journey, the light starts to shine. Every step you take forward, the light shines on. The more I go forward, the more the light shines. That I can now see the traps later. Now they look at me. Maybe I have children. They look at the children's side. They look there to see if they can drop me from there. When they see that they are the fail, they go back to the family side. They look for the weakness within the family. They look what reigns in our family. Now when they check that, they find maybe selfishness. They start on to use that. They are trying to make sure that they hinder me from going forward. Now as they start to use it, I come to discover that the selfish in me is rising up. Now I start to fight it. They sit down as a committee and they look unto me, and then they see that I'm determined to fight the selfishness. Now on looking at that, they know that now I've skipped that level. I've taken one step ahead again. Then they bring in another trap, because all these were laid down. They were put down before even me knowing that I'll come into God. I forsook Jesus. They thought that that would be a big trap for me. They thought I could not skip to the other side. Now they go back to the things that were kept in me. They look at every aspect in my life. They examine each and everything in my life. Now, when they look at me, they see that I'm serious. They see that I've despised everything. They bring in now the poverty. Now, as I'm moving, as I start moving now, initially I had the help everywhere. Now they cut off every side. I look at my life, feeling like I've failed now. I feel now I can't move on anymore. Now when they reach there, they know that now we have her. They know that now, yes, we have her in our hands. Now when I go out there and I look for a job, if God doesn't help me, if God is not by my side, the job may sweep me off. Maybe your side, He may raise the parents and they tell you about marriage. Everyone raises, talking about marriage, asking you when will you settle down. You either persist and move on, or you give up and listen to the voice that you've heard behind you. These are the switches that were placed in our lives. These are the things that were put there to hinder us from moving on. These are the things that were placed in us to make sure that we can never reach God. Because from the time that we were deformed, from the time that they took over this house, they changed everything in it to make sure that their characters are in us. Their ways of behaving are in us. Their ways of life is in us. To make sure that we cannot move with God. To make sure that we are not compatible with God. To make sure that anything that can draw us to God is cut off. Now, this is the battle. Whether there is a darkness or light, it shouldn't matter anymore. What have you known today? That is what will help us to move on. We have to fight against all the characters. I was talking about the family. You may find that in our family, we all booze. Maybe even we brew alcohol. We know how to do it well. We are experts in that area. Before I came into God, I used to booze. Maybe that's the way I used to go. Now when I came into God, I decided, I looked at my previous life, and I decided that I'll never booze again. They look at me, knowing that it's the main switch that are placed in me, knowing that it was the only thing that can control me, knowing that this is the thing that can break me down. Now, they let me handle all the other aspects. Every time they talk about boozing, I would look at myself and tell myself, I no longer even feel the test. Even if I'm passing, it doesn't take me out. So I think that's when I'm okay. Then I go and handle other things. I despise this one. Even the little smell that I still have in me, I leave it aside. I forget that they use even the smallest particle. Now, as I've left all this, I fight the others, and I seem to be moving been gone great. I really feel, yes, I have God next to me. I really feel I'm moving in Him. I really feel we are sharing with Him. I really feel I'm near to God. Suddenly, something happens. Maybe initially I never had a job. Or maybe I'd just given up. Then from nowhere, this raises in me again. It starts again. Because they've seen my determination. They know that if they don't use the main switch to turn off the light, they know that if they use alcohol, I'll be swept out. Several of us, they were determined, that decided to move with God, that given up all, that forsaken everything. But there's something in us that had remained alive, that they maybe underlooked or they never discovered. Now, the moment they go back there and just press the button, the darkness will cover everything that I can't escape anymore. And that is the reason as to why the moment they have switched on or the moment they have switched off, now you will come try to talk to me. You will try to cancel me. You will try to show me where God picked me from. I can't remember anymore because I've been blacked out. It doesn't matter how many words you will use. It doesn't matter which language you will use. Because of the darkness that has already taken over. Because of what had retained in me. That keeps me in that territory. They knew it very well. That they should have something against me. They should have somewhere they should best. If they are to retain me in their camp. Now it is time for us to wake up, to raise up, discover myself, discover where the main switch is. To others, it may be words. When someone tells you one word, that one cuts you off. To some of us, it may be food. When I touch food, you are out. To some of us, it may be women. Sexual morality. When we touch there, you really feel bad and you feel you can't continue. We have several of them in us. I don't know what they placed in you. Their behavior, they see that one from the family. That maybe they left in you. That is how your family behaves. And at times we despise this. At times we sit at something small. That is how my mom was. You see, even my siblings are also like that. So we despise it. We minimize it. We don't take it off. We don't undress ourselves. We don't bathe and remove it. We keep it within us. And in the way of keeping it, even the little light that I've gotten, in me, it will also end up being covered with darkness. Why? Because of this main switch that is inside of me, knowing very well that man was twisted. Man was changed completely. Never to be allowed to know God. Now it's me to examine my soul. Where am I held captive? Where is this main switch? Is it in this thoughts? You may find that outside I'm okay, but my thoughts move. They are really evil. You may find that it's maybe on the destiny. How is it? While moving, where do your legs take you? Where do you enjoy most? You may find that when you see others fighting, that's why your legs will run fast. That's where you enjoy. Brothers, we have to fight. This is a battle that we ought to overcome. We need to overcome all the characters that were blessed in us by these creatures. Remember, Lucifer took over what never belonged to them. So he doesn't mind. He doesn't care. How he uses it is not bother. Now it is me to fight, to come back to God, to know God. And if I'm to know God, that means I have to remove all the characters, all the behaviors, sweep them out completely. I'm not saying it's very easy, but no, it takes me. They may talk about them. You may even be cancelled. They may sit you down several times and talk about it. But because of the wave it comes with, because of how heavy it is, because they know where your strength is, and they know where your weaknesses are. So when they are attacking you, they'll make sure that the wave is passing you. It is beyond you, so that they can easily drag you back, so that they can take you back into the darkness, so that you cannot draw closer to God. This is about me. We really came here when everyone loves God. Everyone was willing. Everyone was like, I'll leave everything. I want to know God. When we reach to know God, that is after knowing who Jesus was, after discovering how false the Holy Spirit is, and even after discovering this Father here, who He is. Now everyone was determined. We folded our clothes, and then we're like, we are going to move on, because the world needs to know God. We started well. Then they came, when they came out, these creatures here, being led by Lucifer, when they started switching off the main switch, someone just wakes up one morning when he no longer understands what to explain. It doesn't matter how much you talk, he'll just tell you, please stop there. I am not understanding anything. What happened overnight? Yesterday we were okay. Yesterday we were fine. I mean, everyone was understanding each other. Everyone understood who God is. Everyone willing to move on with God. What happened? They went back to the main switch. Because no one should correct me. No one should correct me. That is where the main switch is. Now, Sarah comes to me, pointing my weakness. witness, telling me what you did was wrong, I will look at her. Remember where the main switch is. I'm not supposed to be corrected. Now as she's talking, I'm being stirred up. I really feel she has despised me a lot. I really feel she's not even worthy to come and correct me. So the next step is, now the other preachers come now. They start telling me what to do. They really tell me this person is not worthy to correct me. In that same process, I decide. I make my final decision that no one can change. I can't pack my bags and I quit. Now when it comes about boozing, I know very well that what I'm doing is bad. And because it's the main switch there, someone comes and tells me what you're doing is bad. You're not meant to booze again. Because the more you go back in boozing, you're calling all the bosses back. You're bringing back whatever you're posting. Then I look at the person. Then I'm like, yeah, I know it's really bad. I'll never do it again. But I don't take a step to look into this issue. And maybe when I know the origin. But I'm not bothered. It is okay.
It's okay.
Oh, God have mercy, have mercy, have mercy. Then from there I go back. When I become poor, it's like I had money. Then when they came and talked about it, I was left with 20,000. Then I started budgeting. I have no soap. I also need transport. Yeah, I'm not going to booze. I'm now very serious. I even assure those next to me, I'll not booze. I'm very serious this time. I won't do it. I really love God. 4 weeks later, they pay me. Then the friends are like, let's go out. We know you were born again. We know you are in God. Nothing like that will happen. But the moment we reach there, because I opened the door, and I never handled this aspect well, they will sweep me. Now, if I've been in sexual morality, I've been seeing girls passing, and then my eyes are open, wide open. The brown one passes, and I'm like, wow. Then I remind myself I'm in God. I gather myself, but I'm not handled. I just withdrew my eyes. Like, wow. Brother Dan is seeing me. Then later on, another one passes with a very beautiful figure. And she even smiles at me. I'm like, what should I do? The truth is, you know what you're supposed to do. You know you ought to handle it. You know that you have to fight against it. Brothers, we can overcome. Why is it that they're ever getting us? Why is it that it's not us to overcome them? Why is it not us to jubilate that we have overcome such and such? But it's ever the underworld to jubilate. When we increase in number, the underworld is like, you live there. Don't bother. When we sing, we dance, we start prayers, even reach an extent. You lead in prayers, your voice covers everywhere. You seem to have understood. Then they wake up one morning. They're like, that one, according to their family. Those people are rude. Those ones are tough. Let's just get someone in the other corner. Don't bother with him. Let that person go and steer him up. He will be caught. And he will come back to us. These are the things that have been using. It is us now to fight. It is us carrying their things. The main switch is within me. It is me to know where it is and make sure it is removed. Then I will get full light in me. We know very well that the foreigners came. They intruded into the house. You have known that. Now what have you done to let them go? What have you done to see that they are out? Because without you fighting, they will always dominate the house. It is really very bad for you who owns the house to be sleeping in the garage. And then the strangers that came in, they're the ones in the main house. It is high time now to wake up, to make sure we fight against this, to make sure we fight their characters, to make sure we fight the behaviors, because it's pulling us. And when they're pulling us, they can't allow God to reign. They can't allow us to move on. They can't allow us to know God more. Now it's about me to understand where the main switch is. Come on, we can do this. We can do it. We can change this main switch. We can turn everything right. We can bring back things to perfection. We can come back before God. We can suit His standards. We can move in Him. We can really show the world who God is. That is if I decide. That is if you decide over that. And so we shall reach that. Hey, you don't need anyone to remind you that I don't have to loosen my zip. I know it. That I have to keep my zip up. So, what should I do to keep it up? It is me to fight. It is me to know what I'm supposed to do. Yes, I've spoken about all. But now it is time to act. It is time now to fight. Ladies and gentlemen, we can do this. Yes, it is tough. It is not easy. You not just march out with all the traps that have been laid. But we have God. At least He has spoken to us. And He's still speaking to us. He has been always coming, pointing there. There is an arrow ever there that He points out. Marry this, marry that. But it's now me to take a step, fight against this. Yes, it took His time and pointed at it. Now it is me to remove it. It is me to sweep it. What we forget that after turning off the lights, after turning off the main switch, they will take you where you started from. The kind of life that you had before, that ugly life that you were living, actually they will even make it worse. I don't think there's anyone here who would love to go back in the kind of life that we had, full of rubbish and trash. Let's fight before the main switch is turned off. Because once you change the main switch, Lucifer cannot manage you anymore. These creatures cannot. We can do this. We can change the world. We can bring the world to understanding, where they will come to know that there is a true God, there is a living God, there is a powerful God. But right now when they look at us, what overcomes them overcomes us. Now it is me and you to fight. Let's appear before God.